It's Constitution Day, and what better way to celebrate than by driving around the DC area in a Civic talking about civics.
I am always ready to talk civics, Mary.
I just want to say for your benefits that I do have a valid driver's license.
Americans, I think, have an instinctual love of liberty.
If you could declare war on any state, what would it be and why?
Back then, it would have been definitely Rhode Island.
Let's get back to the Constitution. There were a lot of problems with the articles. They come up with the Constitution. They've built in these principles that we now refer to as this. They're like these, put them on a pedestal, right? Like these things are in the document. But they argued a lot in creating the Constitution.
Yes, they did. I was going to say, hold on now. We're not at the constitutional principles yet, right? I mean, we have this long, hot summer in Philadelphia. I mean, 4 months. Don't want to open up any windows because, then people outside would be listening into their secret convention. And they wanted secrecy not to hide anything from the public or what they were doing, but simply as a means of encouraging and fostering honest deliberation and discussion and allowing people to kind of backtrack on some thoughts and just have a free and open discussion, which is great. In Madison's notes, we have this record of the convention by James Madison, and it's really a remarkable record where we got sort of a bird's eye view of all the debates and deliberation. I mean, they kept arguing about things and having to come back to it and not being resolved and coming back to it still not resolved, and they had to deal with these very complex issues and had to take several breaks because the convention was at odds and it almost broke up several times. Yeah,
there's signs of these ideas and these arguments, I think, all around us, which I think is really cool. But I also really love that they were just mad at each other and arguing. Because again, I really identify with that. I just think it's fun. You've got all these different people, different ideas, different priorities, and they're just like having it out in the Philadelphia summer where it's like, Philadelphia's a swamp, so it's hot as blazes. They've nailed the windows shut. It probably smells terrible in there. There's no deodorant back then.
And heavy woolen coats.
And they're all just fighting, and it's just messy, and I think we forget about that.
And at night they're drinking a lot, plenty of rum punch. Washington, of course, loved his Madeira and support, that helps me, I think, restore a little conviviality. But there's still, there's a lot of tension, and I think it adds to the human dimension of this, right? I mean, making of the Constitution, right? They weren't sort of men of marble. It was not an assembly of demigods, as I think it was Jefferson described it. I mean, there's 55 fallible, real human beings, right? There's all these little things when you study the convention that come out and really show them, I think, to be human beings engaged in a great endeavor. And I don't think we should let the great result kind of hide or obscure the very, very difficult road that it took to get there. Kind of like this very difficult road, which is very bumpy right now.
As you said, the founders would 100% identify with the road conditions in the Washington, D.C. area.
Exactly. I'm glad we're not in a wagon. We can pull up horses.
We've talked about the messy process of even getting the document. Then we have a document, we have the Constitution, it has to be ratified. So was everyone on board with it?
No, of course they weren't on board. Why would we expect everyone to be on board? I mean, right, so think about it, right? The Declaration, right? Not everyone was on board with that. There was a huge debate between, Tories and patriots, even the patriots are divided. Many didn't want to leave Great Britain. They just wanted the tax to end. 3 men who are even at the convention did not sign the document. George Mason here in Virginia, Elbridge Gerry, and Edmund Randolph. I mean, they were there. Edmund Randolph introduced the Virginia plan, right, which sort of guided the entire convention, and yet he didn't even sign the document, right? And then Mason was this great sort of draftsman of liberty, and so, but they opposed the document for various reasons. They don't like the outcome, and there's a lot of opposition to the new Constitution. I mean, it's a really vigorous debate, right? And it allowed people to sort of, as our theme goes, sort of reflect and sort of refine and enlarge their views. But yeah, there was a huge debate between the Federalists, Anti-Federalists, and everyone in between.
I really like the idea that I never thought about this before, that it took much longer for people to reflect on the final document and decide yes or no than the actual writing of it. It was actually a really long, drawn out sort of process. It's kind of,
and like I said, it takes the better part of a year. And on top of that, the Anti-Federalists many are so opposed, they actually want to hold a second convention.
What happens to the Anti-Federalists, to the people like Mason who don't want to sign it? Are they just bitter and forgotten?
You know, Madison pushes forward, and it appeases them. It shows that, I think, it shows the Anti-Federalists that the new government is really being set up to safeguard liberty, to engage in self-government, to allow the people to engage in self-government through their representatives. And, you know, I think slowly they come around, but, you know, they do sort of form an opposition party to the Washington administration, largely centered around Jefferson and Madison, who again sort of share that anti-federalist fear that maybe they're centralizing the government too much, especially Hamilton's financial plans and some other things. So there is sort of those lingering anti-federalist concerns into the 1790s, which caused our first party system.
Well, we are actually at Mount Vernon right now.
Can we go in? Can we take a little break?
I don't think I have enough cash to get into Mount Vernon. It's a little pricey.
Wait.
Well, you know what? I have on my, maybe they'll let me in for free because I have on my George Washington for President pin right now.
Well, what about me? Because I happen to have my George Washington socks on that I think everyone can see now. Can you see that? Yeah.
That's really unsafe.
There we
you
go.
need to get your foot
No,
on
I'm sorry. I got a little dirt on your dash there. But I'm sporting my G-Dub socks today, so we're good. I think we're going to get free admission. Can I get a fist bump while we're driving? Keep at least one hand on the